Ready? Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Freedom Hall and the Kentucky Fair and Exposition Center for this evening's Southeast Regional semifinal round game between the Providence Friars and the Crimson Tide of the University of Alabama.
I got you now.
And now, the starting lineups. At forward for Providence, number 15, a senior 6'7", from Kitchener, Ontario, David Kipper. At forward for Alabama, number 21, 6'4", from Dothan, Alabama, a senior Jim Farmer. At forward for Providence, number 23, a senior 6'4", from Germantown, Pennsylvania, Ernie Lewis. At forward for Alabama, number 45, a sophomore 6'7", from Birmingham, Alabama, Michael Ansley. At center for Providence, number 50, 6'11", a senior from Central Falls, Rhode Island, Yasik Duda. At center for Alabama, number 31, a junior 6'9", from Meridian, Mississippi, Derek McKee. At guard for Providence, number 12, a junior 6'4", from Michigan City, Indiana, Delray Brooks. At guard for Alabama, number 23, a senior 6'2", from Mobile, Alabama, Mark Gottfried. And at guard for Providence, number 34, a senior 6'1", from Rockville Center in New York, Billy Donovan. And at guard for Alabama, number 30, a senior 6'3", from Birmingham, Alabama, Terry Conner. The head coach for Providence, Rick Patino. And the head coach for Alabama, Wimp Sanderson.
And there you have the starting lineups for tonight's game. The Southeast Region semifinals, Providence against Alabama, will return with the opening tip-off after these messages. From Freedom Hall in Louisville, Kentucky, the Southeast Region, Alabama 28-4, Providence 23-8. The matchups again, Providence with Kipfer, Lewis, Duda, Donovan, and Brooks. Alabama counters with Ansley, Farmer, McKee, Gottfried, and Connor.
Tom, one of the tips off to this basketball game could be what Providence does to Connor. As well as he runs this basketball team, and you look right here at the tournament records, Providence 9-9, Alabama 8-7. Connor is really a key to this club for Alabama. He has to play well and run the club for Alabama to be successful.
Alabama the second seed, Providence the sixth, as the lower seeded team. Alabama in the home white uniforms, and the Crimson Tide controlling the opening tap. What about the defense for Providence?
Yeah, Providence usually opens up in a 2-3 zone or a matchup zone defense. It looks like a 2-3 right now. Alabama will attack it with those three guards that they have in the lineup.
Alabama with essentially a three-guard offense. Gottfried, Connor, and Farmer, and there's Gottfried for the three-pointer. He hit 4 of 6 three-pointers against New Orleans, and he gives Bama a 3-0 lead.
And Alabama opens up in a man-to-man defense. Big matchup right here. Gottfried on Donovan. Gottfried's got to do a job on Donovan and keep him away from that basket and that three-point shot.
Gottfried has been the defensive stopper in the backcourt for the Crimson Tide all season. Donovan averaging almost 21 points a game for Providence.
Tom, I'll tell you, Terry Connor's got his hands full with Delray Brooks, too. He's a good offensive player.
Brooks and Donovan, the #1 scoring backcourt in the Big East. There's a three-pointer by Donovan.
It's absolutely amazing to me to watch him shoot that ball. Now watch Providence come out and get into this full court pressure immediately. Alabama handles it the first trip.
Farmer takes it all the way and scores.
I think we talked about this before we started the game, didn't we? We thought we'd have a 94-foot game, and it started out that way. This is the type of game Providence likes to play, though.
Alabama with a 5-3 lead in the opening minute and a half of this game from the Southeast Region in Louisville. Brooks for three. Missed everything. Air ball. Ansley has it for Alabama. Connor looking to McKee for the lob, but Providence shut it off.
Yeah, I think you and I both saw that. McKee looked too. He tried to get in, but he couldn't get his position.
Here's Ansley on the low post. Spins off the glass for 2.
Well, good start for Alabama. Right out of the gate, they played 1 minute and 15 seconds, and already they got 7 points.
And they haven't missed a shot. 3 for 3. One of them three-pointers. Lewis for 3. Ansley picked it up off the floor for Alabama. There's the lob to McKee. First miss by Bama. Rebounded by Brooks of Providence.
Make sure you get your win, Tom, because you're going to need it. That's the way they're going to play here tonight.
Kipfer is fouled by McKee. Kipfer was wide open for a moment. McKee recovered, and Rick Pitino's club has picked up the first foul of the game. It's on McKee of Alabama.
There's a man who's done an outstanding job this year. Steve Wright into the game now for Providence. Rick Pitino has done an outstanding coaching job for these Friars this year to get them this far into the 16, team of 16.
Kipfer at the line will shoot 2 free throws. The 6'7" senior, a Canadian native, averages 12 points a game. Really the heart and soul of this team. First free throw of the game is good. It's a 7-4 Alabama lead.
Well, we talked about Alabama's proficiency from the free throw line. Providence is no bad shot either from that line.
75%. They rank 12th in the U.S. And we jinxed him. Ansley with another rebound. He's got a ton of rebounds already. 17:42 remaining in the first half. Bama with the ball, leading 7-4. Farmer on the high post. There's a foul called on Providence. Delray Brooks has the first Friar foul.
I noticed that trip down the floor. Alabama spread their offense a little bit. Maybe trying to get that Providence zone defense to get spread out a little bit more, to open up some passing lanes underneath. Maybe to free Ansley and McKee with a few jump shots in close.
Mark Gottfried will throw it in for the Crimson Tide from beneath the Alabama basket. Long pass to Farmer, who saves it.
Providence right back into that zone defense. You see Donovan on the point of it right now. It's like they're matching up a little bit more out of it than they are in a straight 2-3.
Farmer in the paint tries to dish it to McKee. He's surrounded. And finally a foul is called on Providence's Ernie Pop Lewis.
You can just about bet that every time the basketball goes down low on the post like that and McKee receives it, he's going to have a lot of black jerseys around it. They're going to let him get that basketball in there unmolested.
Lewis that time was hanging on his arm. 2 team fouls against the Friars. Terry Connor, for 3 consecutive seasons, the leader in assists in the Southeastern Conference.
Well, Alabama really takes care of the basketball. Godfrey could have made a bad pass that time. Just wrapped it up and said, let's reset the offense.
And here's Terry Connor, the trigger man. All-time leading assist leader for Alabama. Farmer, short jump shot, won't go. Battle for the rebound. Lewis has it for Providence. Here's the outlet pass, and Donovan quickly in front court for the Friars. Shot is good by Steve Wright.
And here comes the pressure immediately.
Cuts the lead to 1. It's 7-6 Alabama. They beat the full court pressure. So far, the press hasn't given Alabama any problems.
Well, when you've got 3 guards the quality of Alabama with Gottfried, Farmer, and Connor, you're not going to have that much of a problem. And there's Farmer.
Jim Farmer off the glass for his 4th point. It's a 9-6 Alabama lead. Alabama's hit 4 of 6 from the field so far. Providence 2 of 4. Both teams shooting well, and they are both good shooting clubs.
And Alabama has stayed with that man-to-man defense. Godfrey trying to keep up with Donovan.
Got some help from Farmer that time, and Donovan couldn't get his shot off. Instead, Wright in the lane hits for his 4th point.
Now, Steve Wright may be one of the most underrated players in the country. He is an outstanding player on the inside. He had a great game against Austin Peay in that game in Birmingham.
Godfrey pulls up for the 3-pointer, no good, and Donovan has the rebound. He's fouled by Connor. Terry Connor with his first foul. Wimp Sanderson has taken Alabama to 6 straight NCAA tournaments, and this is the 3rd year in a row they've been in the Sweet 16.
155 and 65 for his career there. He waited long enough to get that job.
20 years he was an assistant at Alabama. You talk about paying your dues. 9-8, Alabama with the lead. Providence with a chance to take the advantage for the first time in the game. Lewis, nice fake, fires a 3, good.
As we talked about, they can shoot that 3-point goal, and that's one of their leaders, Lewis.
That's his 91st 3-pointer of the season. Connor pulls up. His short jump shot is good. First 2 of the game for Terry Connor.
Hot dogs, them tacos, pizza, chips and dips, everything from gas to groceries. Hey, pizza.
Soda.
Nachos.
Baby food, Junior?
No thanks.
No money. No problem.
Pays that. A great pass inside and kick for freshman from Bronxville, New York, averaging 4 a game. Also in is Carlton Screen, a 6-foot freshman from Brooklyn, averages 4 points a contest. Farmer knocked away, but Ansley picks it up and drives it home.
Well, Alabama's handling that pressure without any trouble at all. They're getting the ball up and getting it on the inside, and that's exactly where they need to have it. Look out.
Donovan for 3. Good.
Forget it, folks. When you let him get by that far and nobody around him, he's going to bury it from that range.
Second in scoring and assists in the Big East. He has 6 tonight. Providence leads by 1. Connor drives and scores the layup. Terry Connor has 4. Alabama seesaws back on top by 1. Donovan for 3. He got another one. He's 3 for 3.
Tom, I think the most amazing part of watching him is you never think he's going to get that shot off. And all of a sudden you look up and it's gone. And it goes right to the bottom of the net.
Donovan shooting from 3-point range has given Providence the lead. There's a timeout. 14:25 remaining in the first half. Timeout on the court with the score Providence 17, Alabama 15. 14:25 left in the first half. Providence leading Alabama 17-15, and the Friars have taken the lead behind their star guard.
Watch Billy Donovan work without the ball. Now watch him rub off this screen, Godfrey. Conlon got in his way. That's an illegal screen right there. But he got around it. Now watch him get this shot off. Before Godfrey can get there and get established with his defensive position, the ball is up and on its way.
Providence has made its last 5 shots. They started out 1 for 3. They're now 6 of 8, and Donovan 3 for 3 from 3-point range. Alabama against the pressure. Connor in front court for the Crimson Tide. Tried to dish it off and walked. A rare turnover.
The first one for Alabama. Providence has but one. It was on that traveling call by Kipfer underneath. Now Connor returned the favor.
Great shooting in the first half. Alabama 7 for 10. Providence 6 for 8. Providence by 2. Screen. Hacked on the arm. Terry Connor, foul number 2. They can't afford to get Connor in foul trouble. And one thing Alabama doesn't have is a lot of depth.
They don't, Tom, and they go about 7 deep. They really can come down and reach down to get J.J. Jackson to replace anybody at the guard position and a forward by the name of Keith Askins. Beyond that, they really struggle.
David Kipfer returns for Providence. And Duda on the bench for Providence. The Friars with a 2-point lead and 14:08 on the clock.
One thing the Friars like to do, they will give up a lot of fouls, and they'll use 12, 13 people. I like what Rick Pitino said the other day. He says, yeah, a lot of teams have got 13 people, but I use them all.
So Providence definitely with an edge in depth on Alabama. Kipfer's turnaround jumper no good. Rebound, though, comes right back to Providence. Lewis gives it up to Screen. Back to Lewis for 3. Good. Lewis has 6 points, all from 3-point range. And you see why Providence is the #1 team in America in 3-point made field goals, averaging over 8 a game.
And they're 5 of 7 so far in the first half. We haven't even played 7 minutes yet.
Friars with their biggest lead, a 5-point edge. That's the biggest lead for either team, as a matter of fact.
The one thing Providence does well with this 2-3 zone defense is trap on the wings. Now, once that ball comes in, there's a key. Donovan will help Lewis or go to the other side of the screen, but there's Godfrey.
Godfrey bombs from 3-point range. He has 6, and it's a 2-point game, 2018 Providence. Derek McKee has yet to score. He's Bama's leading scorer at 18.9 a game. Right against McKee, missed it. Rebounded by Ansley. Looked like McKee got a piece of it. Alabama with a chance to tie or perhaps take the lead. Tried to lob it to McKee and was knocked away by Providence.
I think the Friars were ready for that one.
Lewis got a hand on it. Here's Donovan. Right turnaround shot goes, and a foul on McKee. That'll be number 2 on Derek McKee.
Well, that's a big foul right there. 2 fouls. We've yet to play, 8 minutes here in the first half, and Alabama's best player already has 2. Now a decision by Whip Sanderson. You take him out not to allow him to get that third foul. There was the reach foul right there. He just touched him as he started up.
And Steve Wright will step to the line trying to convert the three-point play. He's the 5th leading scorer for Providence, though he is not a starter. Junior out of Syracuse, New York. You see his free throw percentage. He has 7 off the Providence bench. It's 23-18 Friars. Wright is 3 of 4 from the field. There, Alabama turns it over against the press. No, not quite. They say Donovan hit it last.
Tom, right now, obviously, with Providence leading by 5 points, to say that this game really favors Providence, at least the way it's being played, I think that if it's played like this all night long, I think Providence got a real shot to win this game. This is what they like to do.
And they've done it on the strength of their three-point shooting. J.J. Jackson handles the ball. He's in the game for Alabama. He is a senior from Montgomery. 5'11", averages 7 points a game. He's scored over 1,000 in his career. 5,000-point scorers on this Alabama team. There's one of them, Jim Farmer, who collects his 6th of the night.
Well, how valuable is it to have 3 guys on your club that are 5th-year seniors? And that's what Alabama has. Experience will take its toll in this NCAA tournament.
Farmer, Gottfried, and Jackson, all 5-year men. Providence leads 23-20.
Alabama 9 of 12 so far in the first half.
And a traveling call. Steps call on Steve Wright. That'll turn it over to Alabama.
Do you think if you told Wimp Sanderson with 11:52 left in the first half that you were 9 of 12, that you'd be down by 3?
And there's the strength of the three-point shot. Wimp Sanderson and one of his famous electric sport coats.
A little more subdued tonight than he usually is.
Gottfried throws a bad pass. Farmer can't handle it. It'll go to Providence. Wimp didn't like that call. You spurred him into action. Now look at that face.
And that's his good look.
Providence leading 23-20. You see the great shooting by these two clubs out of the starting blocks tonight. Jackson has a foul for Alabama. That's the 5th against the Crimson Tide. Number 1 on James Jackson.
Alabama staff was unhappy with that call over there. They felt like Donovan had pushed off with the left arm when Jackson made his move on him. Very determined look there, Coach Sanderson.
He's prowling that sideline now.
Providence now taking that basketball. They're going to face against an Alabama 2-3 zone defense. It looks like Bama wants to set it back in. Jackson almost with a steal. They lost it, and it goes back to the Friars.
Delray Brooks tried to leave it for Conlon, and Jackson got in there to break it up. He knocked it out of bounds.
Let's see if Alabama goes back to that zone defense. They showed it that trip down the floor, and they may do the same thing again. No, they're going to come back to their man-to-man. Now it's going to be Jackson's responsibility to pick up Donovan on the outside.
Less than 11 and a half minutes left in the first half. Providence with the ball, leading by 3. Lewis for 3. No good. On the floor, Jackson has it for Alabama.
Providence a little bit of a drought. They've gone almost 30 seconds without a goal.
Gottfried fakes the 3, drives baseline, scores.
Good move. Gottfried with a baseline move. Excellent offensive move.
Mark Gottfried with 8 points, pulls Alabama within 1. Approaching the midway point of the first half.
Good fake by Lewis.
Conlon dishes it off. Wright knocked out of bounds. It'll go back to Providence. Mark Gottfried made a nice move last time for Alabama.
What's Gottfried here? Farmer dishes the ball to the right. Good fake to get Lewis in the air. Then he kind of floats on the baseline and lays it up. Excellent player. Good leader on this club.
Providence sets it up on the half court with a 23-20 lead. Alabama still sticking right with the zone defense. It looked like that time, and Brooks hit over it for 3. Delray Brooks with his first points. And Providence continues to connect on the three-pointers. Friars lead it 26-22. Steps called on Gottfried. That was an unforced turnover by the Crimson Tide.
The thing that makes Providence so difficult to guard is the fact that they've got 3 excellent outside shooters. Let's watch Delray Brooks. Pop Lewis is one of those 3. Brooks is one, and as is Donovan. They all 3 are great three-point shooters. Now watch Brooks. See, right now, he's not looking to celebrate. He wants to come out and get ready on that defense, and they go right to that pressure after that made three-point goal.
Providence leading Alabama 26-22.
Tom, this is a smart Providence team. They're an excellent, well-coached basketball club.
Alabama man-to-man. Gottfried now has Delray Brooks with Donovan out of the game. Brooks got away from Gottfried and hit it.
Well, what a great first half he's having.
Providence leads by 6. That's the biggest lead for either team. Clock shows 9:35 left in the first half. Southeast Regional from Louisville.
You know, as hectic as this pace has been in this basketball game, we have not had a lot of turnovers.
On the low post, Ansley spins. Shot was blocked and pulled down by Wright. And the foul against Alabama. Remember, Alabama has 2 fouls on McKee, which has held him down a little bit inside. Watch the replay.
Ansley not used to having his shot rejected right here. Steve Wright with a good play. He makes the move to the inside, tries to fake. Wright got him, and Ansley went right back and fouled him after he got it.
That's the 16th foul against the Crimson Tide. 9:23 left. Timeout on the court with a score. Providence 28, Alabama 22. 28-22, Providence leading Alabama with 9 minutes, 23 seconds left in the first half of this Southeast Region semifinal game. Tom Hammond and Larry Conley from Freedom Hall in Louisville, where Providence leads Alabama 28-22. 9 minutes, 23 seconds left on the clock for the first half. Wimp Sanderson's club had the lead early, led by as many as 4, but Providence has taken the lead on the strength of three-point shooting. Larry, they're 6 of 9 from three-point range. That's just like hitting 100% of two-point shots if you have 9.
Well, and they've got such good shooters to do it with. I've talked about them so much here in the first half already. Billy Donovan, Delray Brooks doing an outstanding job from the outside, and Pop Lewis also. You know, when they run a fast break, they don't go inside for the layup. They want to get the ball beyond that three-point range. They're such good shooters.
Just 2 below their average for the season on three-point made field goals.
Watch him work that perimeter. See the 3 good shooters all on the outside. Now Donovan goes to the corner. I'll guarantee you'll be on the outside when he gets the ball. All 3 guys on the outside of that three-point range.
Alabama in a zone defense, and right away from the zone. The score is 9 points. 30-22, the biggest lead of the game.
You know, it's interesting so far that Alabama has not been bothered by the Providence pressure. They've been able to take care of it. They turned it over 4 times. A couple of them have been unforced.
Farmer's three-point shot is an air ball. Donovan takes it on the fly. Here's the pass to Kipper. He missed it. Rebounded by Connor of Alabama. Ansley down low for Alabama is fouled. Foul on Kipper, I believe, is first. Larry, that's only the 3rd team foul on Providence.
Tom, we talked about right now the way Donovan shoots the basketball. Watch him make this good bounce pass. He's one of the leading assist men in the Big East. That's a great pass inside to right. Watch the ball roll around and go in. Billy Donovan can do so many things. Not only is he a good defensive player and a great shooter, but he can dish that ball off as well as anybody in the country.
He did only 7 assists tonight to take over the Providence all-time lead, now held by Ernie D. Gregorio. So far, Providence has shut off Derek McKee, Alabama's leading scorer. He's attempted only 1 field goal, missed that one, does not have a rebound. Ansley gives it to McKee, and he's fouled.
You know, you made an interesting point a few seconds ago about Providence fouls. They really have not committed a lot of fouls in this game, and they're a club that all year long has gone out there and said, beat us from the free throw line. We'll play 12 people. We don't care about the fouls. Tonight, I think they're being very selective about who they put on that free throw line. They don't want Alabama out there shooting free throws.
Lewis committed his 2nd foul. Farmer is open from 3. No good. Ansley with a rebound. His follow not there. Finally saved by Providence. Duda pulled it down, and here come the Friars with an 8-point lead. Donovan almost turned it over, got rid of it to Brooks. In the lane, Kipper.
Well, Providence doing an excellent job about getting that basketball on the inside against that Alabama zone defense.
And Providence leads favored Alabama by 10, 32-22.
And the flow of the game, if it stays at this pace, is going to favor Providence. They got a 10-point lead, and they'd love for this game to stay just like it is.
We said that Alabama had a good blend of inside-outside play. They've been able, has Providence, to shut off the inside, and McKee, and the outside players are going to have to hit.
Well, what they've done is they've just pretty well offset McKee by surrounding him with black shirts underneath. Kipper is always around him, where Duda is right now.
They're always looking for McKee. Shot clock down to 5. Connor dishes off to Ansley, who scores.
Nice pass by Terry Connor.
32-24. Providence leading with the basketball, just under 7 minutes left in the opening half. Winner of this game advances to the regional finals on Saturday against the Georgetown, Kansas winner.
Providence a little bit more patient now with that basketball.
Farmer knocks it out of bounds. It'll come back to Providence. Terry Connor, the leader in the SEC in assists. Here's one of the reasons why.
Yeah, he is. And Ansley in good position to receive the pass. It was a good dump to the inside, and it was a good thing because there was only about 3 seconds left on that shot clock when he let that pass go.
Darrell Wright comes into the game for Providence. 6'5" sophomore from New York City, averages 5 a game. And for Alabama, Keith Askins makes his first appearance. 6'6" freshman from Athens, Alabama, averages 3 points a contest. There's another three-pointer, that one by Darrell Wright, who just got up off the pile.
They've got players that come off the bench looking for three-point shots.
That's 7th of the first half. Providence leads by 11.
Good pass inside by McKee and a foul.
Ansley scores, and he's fouled.
To give you some of the idea of the athletic ability of Derek McKee. He came outside that time, not having any success on the inside. Made a good pass to Ansley as he broke to the basket. Here's McKee out top, just like a guard. Dish it to the inside. You know, a big guy has an advantage out there, Tom, because he overlooks the defense like that, and he got it down inside to Ansley for the field goal.
As a team, Alabama hits 78.4, leading the nation in free throw percentage. Ansley, a little bit of a weak link at only 66%, but he got that one for his 9th point, and it cuts the lead. As Alabama pulls too closer, it's 35-27.
Again, good ball movement by Providence. Alabama's back in their man-to-man defense. Jackson trying to stay with Donovan.
Ansley knocked it away from Kipfer, but he got it back.
Good defense that time by Jackson on Donovan, but now he's got it.
Donovan penetrates, back to the right, three-pointer no good. Here's Connor leading the break for Alabama. To the hoop. It's good.
Excellent move by Terry Connor. Looked right between two Providence players and laid it off the glass. Beautiful, beautiful move.
Alabama closes within 6. Connor almost had the steal. Loose ball on the floor. Jackson fights for it. McKee on the floor after it. And he gets it to Connor. Good hustle by Alabama. And Connor is called for walking. Alabama had the break going, and Connor turned it over.
How about the action underneath right here? Watch Connor come up with a basketball. He goes down inside. Now watch him travel with it.
This is the play before.
This is earlier. Yeah, this is the good move down on the inside. The play before.
35-29, the Providence lead with 5 minutes, 5 seconds left. Mark Guthrie back into the game for Alabama, guarding Delray Brooks. Jackson stays on Donovan.
Good pressure right now by Alabama. They've got to get some turnovers and get the ball back and get in this game.
Donovan for 3. Good! Billy the Kid. 12 points for Billy Donovan, all on three-point shots. It's 38-29 Providence.
I don't think he misses from there. At least he hadn't so far.
Couldn't prove it by me.
You know, somebody asked him yesterday in the press conference about the three-point goal, and he says, well, Coach Patino told us this year, before the season started, that we had to work on that three-point shot. It was going to be an integral part of our offense, and boy, is it ever.
Derek McKee with his first bucket of the game. Averaging nearly 19 a contest. That's his first 2. 38-31 Providence.
Well, now McKee out there. Tough switch. Now Jackson's back on him.
Right. Duda. Can't hit it. Rebounded by Guthrie of Alabama. Less than 4 minutes remaining in the first half. Providence has led by as many as 11.
Tom, I've noticed that Wimp Sanderson has pulled Derek McKee out of that middle now and kind of stuck him on the corner.
Jackson for 3. J.J. Jackson with a three-pointer. Jackson has hit now 8 of 10 shots in the tournament so far.
Alabama crowd wants a little bit of a defensive effort now. They need some turnovers.
There you see the scores in the game so far. It's a 4-point lead for the Friars. Gottfried stays with Brooks.
Good screen by Duda. Brooks didn't take advantage of it.
Right, hacked on the arm by Mark Gottfried. That's the first foul on Gottfried. Alabama's over the limit. We'll shoot 1+1. Carlton's screen returns to the Providence lineup. Here you see the Providence bench. Delray Brooks gets a rest.
Important stat right there. Coming off the bench, already Providence has their players with 12 points. Alabama only has 3 points off of the bench.
An illustration of that superior depth we were discussing. The scales tipped in favor of Providence in the depth department. Free throw no good by Darrell Wright. Normally a 76% free throw shooter. Providence, the best free throw shooting team in the Big East at 75%. Missed them both. Knocked away from Conlon, but last touch by Jackson. It'll go back to Providence. And we've got a timeout with 3 minutes and 10 seconds left in the first half of the Southeast Regional semifinals. Timeout with a score, Providence 38, Alabama 34. Seconds left in the first half. Providence leading Alabama 38-34. This telecast presented by authority of the NCAA. Any use of this program without written consent is prohibited. The announcers for this program have been approved and contracted by NCAA Productions. Transportation arrangements provided through Fugazi International Travel, the official travel agency for NCAA championships.
There's Wimp Sanderson on the sideline right there, very happy with his club to this point. Rick Pitino's got to be pleased with the way his club has played. They've gotten Alabama into their type of game. Look at this three-point field goal percentage shooting. Providence 8 of 12, Alabama 3 of 6.
Clock ticks down toward the 3-minute mark. Green drives and deals it to Conlon. Once he got the handle, he was able to bang it through. 7 Providence players have scored. And averaging 8 3-pointers a game, Providence has already hit that average in the first half. Here's McKee with a 3-point shot. No good. Nothing but black shirts in there for the rebound, and Providence pulls it down.
Well, you've got to believe that when McKee goes outside to shoot that shot, somebody's going to be inside the rebound.
Screen short on his shot. Conlon rebounds to right. It's good.
Good ball movement inside. Well, that's a great pass by Conlon.
Knocked out of bounds. It'll go back to Providence. Right in front of Wimp Sanderson. The Tide turns it over. Steve Wright off the Providence bench has scored 11 points. And the Friars have the ball leading by 8.
He came off the bench the other day and played very well against Austin Peay. He had a great game off the bench for them.
In fact, had 8 rebounds against the Governors. Donovan for 3. Oh! He is 5 for 5 from the 3-point line. McKee loses it to Donovan. Here comes Billy the Kid. Right. Got it.
Providence is hot. Tom, they'll do this to you. They'll get a run, and they'll hit you with about 4 or 5 quick baskets, and all of a sudden, you look up and you're down 10 or 12, and right now Alabama is staring at a 13-point deficit.
47-34, the Providence lead with 1:48 left in the first half. Donovan, from 3-point range in the tournament, has hit 13 of 17. Here's the last foul on the full court pressure by the Friars.
He's Mr. Automatic. You know, he gets beyond that line and he lets it go. He even made a mistake once in the earlier game. He actually got in front of the 3-point lane.
There's a 3-point shot.
Farmer got it. Good shot from the outside. He's one of the good 3-point shooters for the Crimson Tide.
That cuts the lead back to 10 with 1:33 on the clock. That last Providence foul, by the way, was whistled against Darrell Wright. Loose ball. Jackson has it for Alabama. 3-on-2 break for the Tide. Jackson's shot no good, and a foul. Blocking foul on Donovan of Providence, his first foul.
Good handling of the break that time by J.J. Jackson. He went in, put the pressure right on Donovan. Let's go back from the top of it where he got the steal. Watch him come up with the basketball. He'll outrace Duda for the basketball right here. Come up with it. He'll push it up the court. He's got Farmer on his left. He makes the little fake, gets Donovan moving his way, then he draws the foul and goes to the line for 2. Almost a 3-point chance.
Billy Donovan with his first personal foul. Donovan is the Iron Man. He has played all but 114 minutes in the 31 games that Providence has played this season. Jackson's first free throw is good. He's the transfer from West Texas State. In fact, as a sophomore at West Texas, led the Missouri Valley Conference in scoring, but has accepted a reserve role with the Crimson Tide. One of the 5,000-point scorers in that Alabama lineup. And he has 5 tonight. Alabama has Jackson, McKee, Connor, Farmer, and Gottfried, all with over 1,000 points in their career.
Well, they knocked from that 13-point lead. They knocked off 5 points, and they need to shut it down right here. They're going to get a foul.
Billy Donovan will shoot 1+1 as Jackson commits his second personal foul.
The one thing the Friars do exceedingly well is get the ball in the hands of Donovan and spread that offense. And when he makes that move down the middle, it really forces the defense to converge on him. And he's such a good passer, he gets the ball to the open man. Very unselfish player.
Conlon back in for Providence. And David Snedeker, who had been in momentarily, goes out. Donovan, nearly automatic, hits 84% at the line. At one point this season, he hit 39 in a row. Third best free throw shooter in the Big East. Over 1,200 points in his career. 11th leading scorer in Providence. Askins inbounds the ball to Jackson against the Providence press. Friars with a 10-point lead, approaching the 1-minute mark of the first half. Farmer sandwiched and fouled. Marty Conlon with his first.
I'll tell you what, if Conlon had not committed that foul, I don't think Farmer really had a good shot there. He would have gone up and come down with the basketball, and it could have been a turnover.
Wimp Sanderson's club on the short end of a 10-point margin with a minute left in the opening half. And Rick Pitino, the 34-year-old head coach of the Friars, has seen his game plan work to perfection as they bombed away from three-point range.
Tom, there's another factor, too. They've been able to keep McKee out of the offensive statistics. He really has not been able to do anything on the rebounding end or the scoring end.
And if you remember, Larry, as we watched Providence practice yesterday, they paid a lot of attention to shutting off McKee, and they've done a good job of it. Jim Farmer has hit double figures. He has hit 28 in a row at the line. That's number 29. 49-41, the Providence lead with a minute left.
Jackson now picking up Donovan a little bit further on the court. Now look how far Providence spread their offense. They're going to run a little bit of shot clock now to get it down here. That simply opens it up in the middle and gives Brooks and Donovan a chance to go down the middle and dish it off if no one comes to get them, or someone does come to get them.
35 seconds on the game clock. And the shot clock now down to 15. You see the game clock under the 30-second mark.
Good jump out and switch right there. Good help.
Charge. Offensive foul on Donovan as Jackson set him up perfectly.
I'll tell you what made that play right there. It was the good switch by Keith Askins. He got out there and stopped Donovan. Donovan stopped, turned to come back, and Jackson was there waiting on him with good defensive stance.
Donovan's second personal foul with 20 seconds left. Alabama will have it. Derek McKee held to only 2 points in the first half and does not have a rebound.
They're fortunate to be as close as they are.
They are within 8 and have the basketball. Let's see if they hold it for the final shot. Now 10 seconds left in the half. Jackson fakes, fires from 15, missed everything. Ball out of bounds to Providence with 2 seconds left. Not a good shot.
No, it's a terrible shot. Providence with a chance now. I wonder who will get their hands on it.
Duda gets rid of it to screen. His shot will not count. It didn't go in anyway. He didn't beat the horn with a shot, and it fell off the rim. So Providence, with excellent shooting from three-point range, has sprinted clear of Alabama. Can they keep up that sort of percentage from long range, Larry?
Tom, I think they can. The way they move people in and out of this game, they're not going to get fatigued. I think their game plan is excellent. What they're doing is forcing Alabama to play the type of basketball they want to play. That's a helter-skelter, run up and down the floor, 94-foot game.
Fast-paced first half in the books here at Freedom Hall. That's the end of the first half with a score Providence 49, Alabama 41. We'll be back after this message and a word from your local station. This is an NCAA Productions telecast. Providence leads Alabama 49-41 at halftime. The Southeast region at Freedom Hall in Louisville. With us at halftime now, Frank Windecker of TCU and Roy Kramer of Vanderbilt, athletic directors of those respective schools, and also members of the tournament committee. And I know it took a lot of courage to show up here in Louisville. There were some folks not too happy about the Cardinals not making the tournament. That had to be a tough decision.
Tom, it was a tough decision, but really we don't even get any pay, so why worry about hazard pay? We just show up.
Roy, I want to ask you a question. I know that this tournament has grown so much in stature over the last couple of years. The 64-team format, I think, is excellent. Are there any plans to extend that and go to any more teams?
Oh, I don't think so. I think there's a lot of media talk in that direction, but I think the 64-team format works very well at the present time, and I would anticipate that that's where we'll be for at least in the foreseeable future.
Frank, the drug testing issue has been the news of this tournament, with a lot of problems getting the samples and a lot of controversy. What's your opinion of the drug testing, and is it working for the NCAA?
I think it's working fine. It's going to have to be fine-tuned, and we're moving on a week by week, and I think it's super, and I think it's one of the big cancers in this country, Tom. It's got to be eradicated, and I don't care if it's ADs, committee members, airline pilots union, anybody. We ought to be glad to help what is a cancer in our country, and I think our drug testing program's on track, and I think it's super.
Roy, I think sitting on this committee, you guys have had some awfully tough decisions this year to put these teams in here, and obviously we're in the Freedom Hall in Louisville, Kentucky, of one club that did not make it. But I know there are other clubs across the country that also had good years, and you guys, I got to pay tribute to you because you do such a good job of making those selections.
Well, those are tough decisions, and certainly we're well aware of that. And if I were left out, I'd be as upset as some people that are across the country. But I think we attempt to do as fair a possible job to address the teams who have had good records this particular year. After all, this is the 1987 tournament, and we attempted to pick the finest teams that had good seasons in 1987.
Great, thank you.
Gentlemen, thank you very much. You put together another fine tournament, and thanks for visiting with us at halftime.
Thank you, Tom.
Frank Windecker and Roy Kramer of the tournament committee. Right now, we're at halftime with Providence leading Alabama 49-41. We'll return with more halftime activities right after this. Providence leads Alabama 49-41 at halftime. And for more halftime activities, let's go courtside where Larry Conley has the Providence athletic director.
Thank you, Tom. I'm standing here with Lou Lamorello, the athletic director of Providence, and he has a big smile on his face. I'm not exactly sure. Well, yeah, I do know why. His club is up by 8 right now. Lou, they had a great first half.
Oh, they certainly did, and they've just been doing things game in and game out, just incredible. Hopefully we can just keep going another half.
You must have had fun watching this club this year.
Oh, they certainly have been exciting, and just a great tribute to Rick and the job that they've done. They just do this every night. It's not a fluke when we see them the way they are tonight.
It seems as if year in and year out, we always talk about the Big East and the great basketball conference that it is. And this year, you guys, I think, played about as well as anybody in that league.
We certainly did have a good year, but Dave Gabbett has just done a tremendous job with the Big East, and every night, each game is, you know, a dogfight, as we've seen with our team tonight. So it's not something new to Providence, but it's just great to be back at the top of the pack and not sort of on the bottom the way we've been the last couple of years.
Well, you had Rick Pitino. You hired him. He's in his second year right now, and he was 17-14 last year. He's built an awfully good club, and I think he's taken a club and really molded them into the fashion that he wanted them, the type of basketball team and the type of play they like to have up and down the court.
There's no question, and I think that the club just reflects Rick's work ethic and his personality, and he's got them believing that they can go out any night and do anything that they want, and I think that's the most important ingredient we have right now.
You know what's amazing to me is look at this basketball team, and there's not really a true center on this club. These guys are basically interchangeable players, and they seem to be as comfortable playing outside as they do inside.
Well, I guess that's why the three-point line was put in for Providence to get back. No, really, you're right, and as far as our inside game, but I think that what the kids have done to accomplish what they have is just tremendous.
Lou, thank you for stopping by and visiting with us, and good luck to your Providence club.
Thank you.
All right. We'll be back with more halftime activities after you watch these messages.
From Freedom Hall in Louisville, the second half about ready to unfold. It's Providence 49, Alabama 41 at intermission. The Providence Friars leading by as many as 13 points during that first half. And Rick Pitino, the coach of Providence, even with that 8-point lead, is over there making some last-minute notes, Larry.
That's sort of interesting there, and he's not even watching his club warm up, studying his game plan. Don't ever think these guys don't go to school. They're going to sit down and study everything they can about winning basketball games.
And one of the things that game plan has done is to hold down Derek McKee, the star of Alabama, with only 2 points in the first half. We're at Freedom Hall in Louisville at halftime of the first regional semifinal game in the Southeast region, and Providence leading it by 8. There are the stats for the first half.
How about 67% for Providence, and Alabama at 64%, and they're down 8. Free throws right there. Alabama's hit all 5 of theirs. Providence is 4 of 7.
And look at the three-point shots. That's the telling stat. Providence 9 of 13 from three-point range. Alabama's hitting 50%, but that doesn't even hold a candle to the Friars' performance at three-point line in the first half.
Well, that's the first half story right now, is the three-point shooting of Providence.
You see the rebounding situation. Providence with a 2-rebound edge. Alabama's turned it over 2 more times. And off the bench, Providence has gotten 18 big points.
It's interesting to note that you only had 20 total rebounds in the first half.
Neither team missed.
There's nothing coming off.
Providence led by Billy the Kid, Billy Donovan. He's 5 for 5 from the field, all three-pointers. 2 for 2 at the free throw line. He has 5 assists as well. Saw the leading scorers for each team, and you have to wonder if Providence can keep up this torrid pace from three-point range.
Tom, you know, when they put this three-point shot in, there were a lot of people that thought when they did it, it would open up the middle and really get more play to the inside. I think it's had the opposite effect. What it's done is it's forced the ball to the outside, and now the guy who's the good three-point shooter in high school may be the key recruit for the colleges. He's the guy they want to get in, come in and play basketball because he can burn you from the outside.
One thing's for sure, they were celebrating in Providence even before they painted the stripe on the court. Billy Donovan, you see from three-point range, is perfect. Coach Rick Pitino said most of his shots last year were from that same distance. They just counted for 2. And he also has Delray Brooks and Pop Lewis that can hit from three-point range. Wimp, a very subdued coach, not the normal, very feisty Wimp Sanderson we're used to seeing.
He'll be off that bench, don't worry.
Providence with its original starting 5. Donovan, Brooks, Duda, Lewis, and Kipfer. And Alabama has its starting 5 intact. Farmer, Ansley, McKee, Connor, and Gottfried.
And again, Gottfried back there on Donovan again.
Three-point shot. They take up right off.
Pop Lewis.
As Lewis buries one from the corner.
That is his third three-point goal.
9 points for Lewis. It's 52-41 Providence. Opening minute of the second half. Connor dishes it inside. Ansley's shot goes. It'll count, and he's fouled. Michael Ansley with his 11th point. That's right on his average.
Well, Providence comes down, and they open the second half with a three-point goal, and then they go right back, Alabama does, to Ansley inside. This is the more conventional three-point opportunity. You take it inside, let Ansley kick it off the glass. He gets fouled by Pop Lewis.
McKee was a little more aggressive as he came banging in there as Ansley's shot went in, and Ansley's done a good job of taking up the slack as they've cut down McKee's scoring. He has 12 points in the game.
It's time for McKee to get unraveled. He's going to have to get into the offensive flow, or Alabama's not going to win this basketball game.
52-44, the Friars. Alabama led early in the game by as many as 4, but when they got the three-pointers warmed up, the man.
Defensive pressure has turned up a notch a little bit now for Alabama. They're starting to put pressure on the basketball and covering up those passing angles.
Larry, would a team like Providence be in the tournament without the three-point shot? There's a missed one by Lewis, out of bounds. And they rule it's Providence ball, and the crowd, the Alabama bench, and the players dumbfounded. There's Brent Sanderson with his reaction.
That's a good question. I think the answer that I would say probably yes. I think they would have been. They're a good shooting team. They would have made the adjustments. If they hadn't had the three-point goal, Rick Pitino would have coached him differently. I think he's done such a good job with this club, and this is a very good basketball team.
Providence 23-8, fourth in the Big East.
Kipfer, good shot from the outside.
Kipfer has his 5th point of the game. Out of bounds, it'll go back to Alabama.
Watch Billy Donovan right here. We isolated him. Now watch him come over and try to get that basketball. Now that's after a made field goal. Folks, he just doesn't wait for something to happen. He goes and makes it happen.
41 is Keith Askins, who is in for Alabama, replacing Ansley. Askins played in the first half, didn't score. 54-44, 10-point Providence lead. We played a minute and a half of the second frame. Here's a foul called on Donovan. That's his 3rd.
Providence with a little bit of a different look on defense that time. They went to a man-to-man. Connor tried to take advantage of Donovan because he does have a height advantage.
That could be a big factor as Donovan Picks up 3, and Rick Pitino shaking his head in front of the Friar bench. He's going to bring somebody in to replace him. It'll be Carlton Screen. Screen, number 20, played in the first half, didn't score.
Excuse me, Tom. I was going to say, I don't think he's going to leave Donovan on that bench for very long. Maybe about 3 or 4 minutes. Give him a little bit of a blow and get him right back in.
Donovan, the first player in the game with 3 fouls. Farmer drives baseline, cut off, gives it up to McKee.
Well, that ball goes down on the baseliner, goes inside. All 5 Providence players converge on the ball.
Really sagging in. Here's Gottfried for 3. No good. Rebounded by Lewis of Providence. Friars up by 10 with a basketball and 18 minutes to play. The winner advances to the regional finals on Saturday. They'll meet the winner of the Georgetown, Kansas game.
Good patience by Providence right now. They're going to move that basketball. See if Brooks tries to go one-on-one. Good move by Screen.
Screen got it to Duda. Farmer knocked it away. Gottfried picks it up. Here's Terry Connor. Alabama's got the numbers. McKee, foul, it'll count. Terry Connor, the man that makes things happen.
This is what the Southeastern Conference looked at all year long. Terry Connor giving it to Derek McKee. What's that pass? Good dish to the inside. Kipper late in getting there, and he simply takes it up and lays it in. Excellent move by Derek McKee. Maybe that's what he needs to get on track, Tom.
He was fouled pretty hard, but still managed to get the ball in, and will try the free throw for a 3-point trip. It's 85%, a junior from Meridian, Mississippi. Not heavily recruited, but the SEC Player of the Year and the tournament most valuable player in the Southeastern Conference. He has 5 points, cuts the lead to 7. It's 54-47.
Interesting that with Donovan out of the game, Connor takes screen, and Gottfried now is on Brooks. Good screen for him.
Brooks got away and scored.
I tell you, you cannot leave those guys open for any length of time. Just a split second, and they'll let the ball go.
Brooks has 7 points. It's a 9-point Providence lead.
Providence back into that zone defense now. A little bit more of a conventional 2-3. No matchup.
Derek McKee. Finally gives it down low to Askins. Missed in close and rebounded by Brooks.
Had a good shot. Well, Godfrey's got his hands full trying to keep up with Brooks. Maybe he'll get a break and Donovan will come back in the game.
Choose your poison.
Yeah. Good move by Wright, and Alabama stole it.
There's Farmer for the Crimson Tide into front court. And they'll set it up. McKee gets the lob. Bad pass. And Lewis has it for Providence. Brooks for 3. No good. Rebounded by Askins. And he thought he was fouled, but actually the time was called because Derek McKee is injured. Wimp Sanderson has shed the sport coat now. He's getting down to fighting weight.
Watch McKee make the spin move right here against Conlon on the inside. He turns. Here comes the lob. Good move. The pass was just off slightly. I'm not too sure he didn't get fouled when he went up. I think maybe Wright got him as he started up.
McKee was shaken up a little bit, but is okay. Farmer is open. His jump shot no good. And Derek McKee, fighting for position under the boards, is whistled for his 3rd foul. So the leading scorer of each team with 3 fouls apiece.
Well, we now know the game's getting serious. Rick Pitino's got his fist in the air, and Wimp Sanderson's got his coat off.
There are many in the crowd that applauded when Wimp got rid of that coat. Sort of blinding them from across the floor. Screen, penetrates, scores! Carlton Screen with his first 2. It's 58-47 Providence. You see the clock approaching the 15-minute mark. Knocked out of bounds by Brooks. It'll be Bama's ball. Coming in for Providence, David Kipfer, number 15, replacing Conlon. And for Alabama, Michael Ansley is back in. He replaces Askins. Got Farmer open. Was open for a moment. Drove baseline. No good. Tap no good. McKee fights for it. Out of bounds. It'll go to Providence.
Looks like Alabama's going to put some pressure now on Providence. They're going to return some of that pressure they've been getting. Let's see if they do it in a man-to-man or zone. It's man-to-man. Gottfried on Brooks, Connor on screen.
Billy Donovan on the Providence bench with 3 personal fouls. Derek McKee of Alabama on the floor. He has 3. Brooks getting a screen, but couldn't get his shot away. Illegal screen is called on Providence. Duda set an illegal pick, and that'll turn it over to Alabama.
The foul is on Duda, number 50.
First foul on Duda, and 2 this half against the Friars. We've got a timeout with 14:55 left in the game. Time out on the court, the score, Providence 58, Alabama 47. Tom Hammond and Larry Conley at Freedom Hall, 14:55 left. Providence holds a 58-47 lead. Here's that illegal screen.
Watch Duda right here now. He's going to move right there on Gottfried. No, yeah, it was Gottfried as Brooks made the move. You've got to have that screen established. Both feet planted, and you cannot move. He was moving on that screen, and that's why it was a block.
Like an offensive lineman sort of keeping in front of him to protect the quarterback. Tom Hammond and Larry Conley at Freedom Hall with 14:55 to play in the Southeast Regional semifinal. The Providence Friars leading 58-47, and the hot shooting continues by both teams.
Alabama shooting 58%, and they are down by 11.
There's Billy Donovan on the Providence bench. He has 3 fouls. He's been perfect tonight. Donovan 5 for 5 from the three-point line. Ansley down low for the Crimson Tide.
So good defensive movement for that zone defense of Providence.
Connor penetrates and hits from 12. 8 points in the game for Terry Connor. It's a 58-49 Providence lead. Screen guarded by Connor and a 5-second count. Connor forced the 5-second count, and the Crimson Tide gets it back.
Alabama looks like they're being a little bit more assertive after that timeout. They came out, they got that basket, they penetrated the Providence zone, and that time they got a 5-second call on the defense. The first one of the night for them.
Jim Farmer straight away to Gottfried, looking low for McKee. They get it to him. Turnaround jumper. Derek McKee has it rim out. Farmer got a hand on it. They fight for it. Out of bounds to Alabama. Here's J.J. Jackson returning for the Crimson Tide, and Gottfried will get a rest.
Now, I think maybe Gottfried is getting a little tired. He's been chasing around 2 good guards all night long defensively, and that can have an impact on you offensively, the way you shoot and the way you pass.
Farmer open. It's good. First 2 of the second half for Jim Farmer. He has 13 for the game. That cuts the lead to 7. Less than 14 minutes left in this regional semifinal.
I'd be thinking about getting Donovan right back in that basketball game.
Right, baseline power move is good.
And he went right by Derek McKee.
McKee, remember, has 3 fouls, and Steve Wright, off the Providence bench, has picked up 13 points. 9-point Providence lead. Farmer tried to dish it off. Wright knocked it out of bounds.
Did you see how quickly Wright got over there to shut that down when he made that move? That was an excellent defensive move by Steve Wright.
Sure enough, Larry, there's Billy Donovan returning for Providence. Off the bench, Providence with 22 points tonight. Just about what they averaged for the season.
They'll surpass that tonight, I'm sure.
We have 13:15 left. It's almost a certainty. Connor tried to dish it off. It was knocked but saved by McKee.
One thing I like about Providence defense is their hands. They're so quick with their hands on defense.
Farmer gives it up to Ansley underneath, and Ansley connects for his 14th point.
Just
and
as I said,
7-point lead.
Just as I said that, Alabama gets a field goal. But they do have great hands on defense. Very active.
Farmer guarding Lewis. Now Delray Brooks started by Connor as Jackson has Donovan. There's that matchup. Wright missed it. Rebounded by McKee. Almost taken away by Wright. McKee saves it.
Now a chance for Alabama to get within 2. Maybe they'll get knock 2 more or 3 more off if they can get one here.
Lob it to McKee. Farmer is open. 3-point shot, no good. Donovan has it for Providence. Look out. Kipper spins. Good.
Good dish. McKee was afraid to pick up that 4th foul.
62-53 Providence. Just over 12 minutes left. The underdog Friars playing an excellent game of basketball against Alabama, regular season and tournament champions in the SEC. Farmer tried to give it to McKee, knocked out of bounds. Alabama gets it back.
Tom, we've talked all year long and all night long about this Providence club. Watch Billy Donovan pass this ball to Kipper. Dave makes a move, looks at McKee, and goes straight up on him. Good move by Kipper.
And Billy Donovan with another assist. He's already exceeded 500 for his career at Providence.
Did you notice in those shooting drills yesterday, Providence was going through about how many times each time they shot the ball that they faked? One quick pump fake before they go up and shoot that jump shot. Kipper just gave that to you on the baseline.
There's Jim Farmer showing you his shooting touch. Farmer with 15. He leads Alabama in scoring, and it's a 7-point lead for the Friars. Jackson gave Donovan room. That's the first miss tonight. Connor couldn't control the rebound. Brooks puts it up, no good. Out of bounds. Alabama's McKee lost it, and Providence gets it back.
Providence bench was crying for a goaltending call against McKee right there on the move by Brooks. Made no difference. They got the ball back when McKee dropped the ball out of bounds.
Wimp Sanderson calls his defense. His star, Derek McKee, not having a good game. Darrell Wright is in for Providence, and Lewis goes out. Donovan.
The
Brooks
screen.
is open. Delray Brooks, the transfer from Indiana, hits another 3.
Well, they really used their screens well to pop him loose out top. He is an excellent shooter.
Gives Providence a 10-point lead. Delray Brooks, the co-Mr. Basketball in the state of Indiana, played for a season and a half under Bob Knight. Transferred to Providence and has been a real star for the Friars.
And just drew the foul.
Second foul on Delray Brooks. And the 15th foul this half against the Friars. Remember, Alabama, an excellent free throw shooting team. With 10:50 left, Providence committing its 5th foul.
Providence going to stay in that 2-3 zone. The zone defense probably helps them keep down that foul total. If they ever played man-to-man, they'd never have anybody left.
Terry Connor in traffic scores and will go to the line.
One thing Alabama's doing a lot more in the second half than what they did in the first half is allowing Connor to penetrate against that zone defense. And I think that's opening up a lot of things for that Alabama offense. And so far, Connor's been able to get off a number of shots after he's penetrated that first wave of Providence guards.
Foul was on Carlton's screen, his first. Terry Connor at the line for the 3-point trip. Alabama 7 for 7 at the free throw line tonight. Now 8 for 8 as Connor registers number 11. Connor has not missed from the field either. He's 5 for 5, and he pulls the Crimson Tide within 7. 10.5 minutes left. Brooks for 3. Another one.
Oh, my. If it's not Donovan, if it's Brooks. If it's not Brooks, it's going to be Pop Lewis.
They have combined for 30 points, have Brooks and Donovan. There's an Alabama turnover, which Sanderson doesn't like it, and Providence will get it back.
Watch Brooks pop out on this screen right here. McKee looking for help. Connor got no help, and Brooks buried it. Look at this, right into the defense. They don't celebrate. They get right after it into that pressure defense. Excellent work. Good camera work, guys.
And the defense paid off. Providence has it back. White turnaround jumper finds the mark.
Here comes that run, Tom. Providence is so famous for it. They'll run at you and hit you with 6 or 8 quick points.
They lead it by 12, 70-58. Less than 10 minutes left in this game. Farmer in trouble. Outside to Connor now to quarterback the offense and set it up. Jackson had the shot, didn't take it.
They've got McKee open if they can get him the basketball. Conlon's trying to hang back a little bit. There's Farmer with the penetration.
From 15, Jim Farmer can't hit. Ansley has the rebound on the offensive boards. It rims out and rebounded by Brooks.
Boy, it is really getting rugged underneath those boards.
Duda had McKee about 3 feet out of bounds that time, blocking him out. Brooks for 3. Duda is fouled by Jackson. 3 personal fouls on James Jackson. Only the second team foul, however, on Alabama.
Watch it again right here. You're going to see Providence with a shot. Watch it come off the back of the rim. Comes right back in. Here's Providence and Alabama's players. Conlon came up with a basketball, and J.J. Jackson got Conlon on the arm.
9:15 to play. Providence in command. Timeout on the court with a score. Providence 70. Alabama 58. 9:15 on the clock. The 11-game winning streak of Alabama in jeopardy. Providence with a 70-58 lead in the Southeast Regional semifinal. From Freedom Hall, Tom Hammond and Larry Conley. We've seen an excellent performance by Billy Donovan and his prior teammates tonight.
17 points, 8 assists, 5 of 6 from three-point range. As well as he's playing on one side, Derek McKee may be playing as poorly on the other side. The scales definitely tipped in the favor right now of Providence.
McKee only 2 of 5 from the field, 5 points and 1 rebound. He averages on the season nearly 19 points and 7 rebounds a game.
Tom, it's not time to panic right now, but I think if I were Alabama, I'd really be turning that defense up pretty quickly because they've only committed 2 fouls, and they need to get after Providence to try to get some turnovers. They're down by 12, and they've got less than 9 minutes to play.
They're playing a zone here on the Providence inbounds play. And Providence showing a lot of patience here.
Now, the Friars moving the ball extremely well against this zone defense. They'll keep it on the perimeter.
Shot clock under 10.
Here it goes. 3. Brooks.
Points for Delray Brooks. Farmer against the pressure, pulls up and draws the foul. Foul whistled against Steve Wright. And Jim Farmer will shoot 1+1 or perhaps 2. I guess he was fouled in the act of shooting.
Yes, 2.
Mark Gottfried is back for Alabama. Jackson goes to the bench. Rick Pitino's club in command of the game.
Tom, when you take a look right now, the Friars just committed their 6th team foul, so that means Alabama will shoot at the bonus from this point forward.
It's the 7th, actually, Larry. They haven't shot.
There it goes there. They just put it up. Yeah, it was a 7th team foul. That could help Alabama, but they need to get in there and get some of those free throws. To do that, they've got to get the Providence players to come out and foul them.
Alabama has not missed a free throw tonight. This is their 10th attempt coming up. Farmer 3 for 3. And now 4 for 4. He's hit 31 in a row.
And here comes the pressure from Alabama. Look at Donovan handle the ball.
73-60 the Friars. Donovan missed the shot but drew the foul.
It is so tough to keep up with that young man. He handles it so well. He gets himself open. You know, a lot of people, when they start to look around at this guard, the way he plays, you'd think he's too slow to get open, but he has got some very, very quick moves. Whip Sanderson knows that.
Billy Donovan, 2 for 2 at the free throw line tonight. That's his first point of the second half. Remember, he picked up his 3rd foul early in this period. He has 19 for the game. 75-60. Providence equals its biggest lead. Just over 8 minutes to play. Farmer forced it up under traffic. He was in traffic and couldn't hit it, and Delray Brooks clears the rebound for Providence. Brooks and Connor going after it.
Connor did a nice job defensively. They got it trapped.
They double-team Kipfer, and the foul called on Terry Connor. That'll be number 3 on Connor. Alabama has McKee, Connor, and Jackson with 3 fouls each.
You know, so far, if you had to write a script for this basketball game in Providence's favor, it'd have to go their way. They got the game the way they wanted in the first half, and they started off the second half with a 3-point goal, and they haven't been headed since.
They've shut down Derek McKee, and they've been blazing from the 3-point line. Again, Elray Brooks, bingo! Unbelievable 3-point shooting by the Providence Friars. The Providence guards, 19 points for Donovan, 18 points for Brooks. Brooks with a rebound and a foul on Ansley of Alabama. Providence is turning it into a rout.
18-point lead right now for the Friars.
7:19 left in the game. The Southeastern Conference champion Alabama Crimson Tide, 28-4 on the season, winners of 11 in a row, trailing Providence from the Big East 78-60. Why? Look at the 3-point shooting by Providence, 14 of 22.
Billy Donovan's got 19 points and 10 assists in this basketball game, and that's in 33 minutes of play.
7 minutes left in the game, and Providence content to work the clock a bit. Donovan under... Oh, no! When you're hot, you're hot.
Oh, what a shot! It's got to be timeout time for Alabama. Watch Billy Donovan make this move. He takes it to the inside, crossover dribble against Godfrey. Watch him throw up this prayer, and his prayer is answered.
You know, that was pretty good defense by Godfrey.
All over him.
The Providence fans love it. We've got a timeout with 6:57 left. The score, Providence 80, Alabama 60. Friars shockingly on top by 20 against Alabama. 6 minutes, 57 seconds left. A flawless performance so far by the Friars.
Played an outstanding game.
Tom Hammond and Larry Conley from the Southeast region at Freedom Hall in Louisville. 6:57 left, and a shocking score. Billy the Kid leading the Providence Friars to a 20-point lead over favored Alabama. Foul trouble for the game. Kipford, Donovan, and Lewis, 3 each for Providence, and Alabama has 4 players, Jackson, Gottfried, McKee, and Connor, each with 3 fouls. Donovan rolls it in. He's 5 for 5 at the free throw line. He has 22 points.
Tom, I noticed that time Providence pulled that pressure off.
Haskins. Farmer fakes and threw it away. Foul called on Donovan. That's his 4th. Billy Donovan committing his 4th foul. What a force he has been. In 3 games, or 2+ in the NCAA tournament, he has scored 81 points and dished out 29 assists. He'll go to the bench for that 4th foul as Carlton Screen comes in to replace him.
Tom, I was in Birmingham, and I did their games over there, and I got him off to the side, and I sat him down, and I said, Billy, how much do you really work on your game? He says, when I was in high school, he said, during the summer, I would work 3 hours by myself, and then spend another 3 hours a night trying to find a game to play, either in a gym, in the schoolyard, but somewhere I'd want to play. I tell you, his work ethic, we should have all adopted. He just loves to play the game of basketball.
Terry Connor keeps that Alabama free throw string alive. They are 11 for 11. 12 for 12, excuse me. 13th shot coming up. That one no good. And rebounded by Wright of Providence. 20-point lead for the Friars.
All right, now if you're Providence, you want to begin to think about sitting on that basketball. You don't want to get too many bad shots. Take care of it. You got a 20-point lead. You're 1 step away from getting into the finals of the regional Southeastern tournament. I don't think I'd want to be in a big hurry right now.
2 teams representing conferences that have done awfully well in the tournament so far, the Big East and the Southeastern. And should Georgetown win, we could have an all-Big East final.
Well, it could be 3. Well, at this point, at least, both conferences had 3 people remaining in the tournament in the final 16.
Lob it underneath. Wright had it knocked away. Connor has it for Alabama. Here's Farmer. Drives for the hoop and is fouled by Kipfer.
And the one thing Providence doesn't want to do is foul. You know, they're going to go in there. They got that 20-point lead. You don't want to stop the clock. Give Alabama a chance to catch up with no time running on.
David Kipfer picks up his 4th personal foul. So Donovan with 4, now Kipfer with 4. But time running out on Alabama. 6:03 left. Facing a 20-point deficit. 17 for Farmer tonight. He's Bama's leader in the scoring column. On the season, he is the second leading scorer for Alabama. He's got that string of free throws intact. Made 33 in a row. 6 tonight. Jackson for Alabama. J.J. Jackson. And Gottfried goes out.
Chance by Wentz Anderson to really take Gottfried out, give him a little bit of a glow, because he's going to have him back in there.
Steal by Askins. Jackson flipped it up from long range and missed everything. Farmer saves it. Jackson is there and is fouled by Wright.
Good play by Alabama. They got a chance to come back now. They can knock 2 more points off and no ticks of the clock.
It's 81-63, Providence. Duda back in for the Friars. And Wright goes to the bench. Wright just committing his second foul. Jackson, like all the Alabama players, excellent at the free throw line. Leading free throw shooting team in the nation at 78.4. And you see Jackson's total for tonight. Gottfried quickly back in for the Tide, and Jackson goes out.
Maybe Jackson's a designated free throw shooter.
Providence winning the rebounding battle, 24-15 for the game. 81-65 the Friars. 5:45 left. I imagine they'll start to milk that shot clock every time down.
Well, Alabama really turning it up a notch now, maybe 2 notches. They're really putting pressure on that Providence offense.
There's a collision and a foul. It'll be called on Keith Askins of Alabama. Askins with his first foul. And we'll watch it again.
Watch Keith Askins right here on the left side. Good move by screen down the middle. Gottfried all over him. You'll see the move out there by Askins. Kipfer tries to get around him, and he just tripped him as he went by. And then Farmer fell over him.
7th team foul on the Crimson Tide. David Kipfer, the senior from Ontario, will toe the line. See the free throw shooting by these two clubs, and Kipfer misses. Strong rebound by McKee. Connor can't get inside. Comes back out with it to Farmer. Gottfried for 3. An air ball pulled down by Askins. And a foul called on Providence. I think the foul is on Lewis, who fouled Gottfried as he got the three-pointer off.
But again, Tom, you got to look at this. They're beginning to foul. Alabama walks to that line, the leading free throw shooting team in the country, and there's no time going off the clock. They're beginning to catch up, and the time is staying right where it is.
Donovan back in for the Friars as Gottfried steps to the line for the first time tonight. And a rare miss. Big miss by Gottfried, who hits 79% on the year. 81-65. They trapped Donovan. He threw it right to McKee. Derek McKee, only his 7th point of the night. 81-67, 5 minutes left, and Providence calls its first timeout of the game. Good timeout comes with an even 5 minutes left. Timeout on the court with the score: Providence 81, Alabama 67. And even 5 minutes left to play. Providence with an 81-67 lead on Alabama. And the two teams representing conferences that have done well in tournament play. We're down to the Sweet 16. The SEC with 3 teams remaining, and 3 of their 6 have already exited.
You can see right there, Alabama's playing hard here tonight. I tell you, Florida might be the surprise of that whole bunch. Well, you'd have to say LSU also.
The SEC had 8 of their 10 teams in postseason play this year.
Big East is doing very well right now. They still got Syracuse and Georgetown around.
Georgetown plays the second game here tonight against Kansas. And it's possible they could be, if they can win, facing Big East rival Providence in the regional final Saturday. Steps called on Duda. Alabama gets it. At what point does Alabama start to go for the threes?
Tom, I think they got to start thinking about that right now. They've got 4:40 left to play in this game. They've got to get back and get back quickly.
Connor penetrates. McKee couldn't handle the pass. He was fouled by Lewis.
And again, they're going to send Alabama to the line. which is their strength, the free throw percentage that they have, and there's no time going off the clock.
And Ernie Lewis has just fouled out. Pop Lewis leaves the game with 9 points, all from three-point range, and he leaves with 4:34 remaining. Comes in to replace Lewis. And here's McKee with a subpar performance tonight. He's an 85% free throw shooter, fifth in the Southeastern Conference. Unusual soft touch for a big man.
He's got great hands. Not only can he shoot that ball well, he's a great passer. Yeah, he really dishes the ball off well, even any position he's on the floor.
An illustration of his good hands is the fact that in high school he was a 6'9" shortstop on the baseball field.
How'd you like to turn a double play with him?
Jackson replaces Gottfried for Alabama. It's 81-69 Friars. There's a foul, a quick one on Farmer. Of course, Providence is not too shabby at the free throw line either. You don't want to foul the Friars. They hit 75% as a team. Jim Farmer committing his first foul, and Wimp Sanderson still trying to direct traffic in front of the Bama bench. 3 straight trips to the Sweet 16, but never further for Wimp Sanderson.
Ever so slowly, they're beginning to catch up on this Friar lead.
Here's Wright, 2 points below his tournament average. He's now 1 of 2 at the free throw line tonight, and normally hits 76%. 13-point Friar lead. Wright hits 2. It's 83-69. 4.5 minutes on the clock. Jackson couldn't get behind the three-point line. Threw up an air ball. McKee fouled on his follow.
Boy, you had a great opportunity there to get a three-point play, too. Jackson just missed the shot. You're going to see Connor. Good shot from the high-angle camera here. Now watch the break go in, come inside. He fakes it, nobody around, takes the shot. Watch McKee underneath get good position. Ball comes down in his hands, and that's where he got fouled. Well, that's where you really need a three-point play. He could have really used one right there.
Steve Wright committing his third foul as McKee buries another free throw. 4 for 4 at the line for McKee. He has hit double figures, only his 10th point. The SEC Player of the Year. All-American candidate. In fact, was picked third-team All-American. Gottfried returns for the tie. Jackson goes to the bench. Platooning here by Wimp Sanderson as he gets Gottfried back on for his defense. They sandwich Brooks, and Askins commits the foul. Stops the clock with 4:20 left. Uphill battle for Coach Sanderson.
And they're going to send to the line Delray Brooks, who is an 82% free throw shooter.
Sanderson was Southeastern Conference Coach of the Year this year. Delray Brooks has not shot a free throw tonight. 82%.
Rimmed out. Oh, they got it back.
Kipfer went up to save it on the tap, and Providence does have it back. Great play by Kipfer.
Alabama a little bit more active on defense now. They're coming out and really putting pressure on the ball. Gottfried's going to try to stay with Donovan. Here comes Kipfer with a screen. Didn't use it.
And even 4 minutes on the clock. Derek McKee commits the foul. Number 4 on McKee.
The foul is on McKee, number 31. That is
McKee has moved into 15th place on the Alabama scoring list all-time tonight. The junior has scored over 1,200, but this has not been a game that he'll remember fondly.
This last 2 minutes has been a parade to the free throw line for both clubs.
Kipfer missed his last 2 at the line. Rick Pitino urging on his Friars. The Cinderella team, certainly.
Boy, no question about that. They're wearing 2 glass slippers right now.
13-point lead. Kipfer could make it 14. And he does. Kipfer has 9 for the game, 85-71. Godfrey throws it away. Brooks intercepts it for Providence.
Good steal that time by Brooks. Did you see that play? It was a great over-the-shoulder catch and a steal.
Looked like a wide receiver going up for the football.
Boy, he really did. That was a great and really a defensive back, the way he went up and got that.
Providence running a little clock here. We're down to 3.5 minutes. Foul on Jim Farmer, his second. It's going to be a simple matter. If Providence can hit the free throws, they'll win.
That's all it is. That's what it gets down to. I'll tell you what, Alabama's got so many people in foul trouble right now, and they cannot go to the bench. They're in danger of losing 4 or 5 players right now.
Farmer, who committed the last foul, is not one of those in foul trouble. That was only his second. Donovan missed it and tipped in. Wright tipped it in.
Great offensive rebound by Darrell Wright. Boy, was that a big basket.
Was indeed. Donovan with a rare free throw miss. But Providence gets 2 anyway. Askins from three-point range, not good. Rebound tapped out to Gottfried. He'll bomb. It goes in off the front of the rim. Three-pointer for Gottfried. His 11th point of the game. Wright fighting with Farmer saves it for Providence. That's the score. 2:50 on the clock. Foul on Mark Gottfried. That'll be his third.
Might be time for Jackson to come back in and give Godfrey a break. He's had to chase Donovan around now for the last 2 minutes.
There's J.J. And Gottfried will go out. Wimp Sanderson. He said that this team has been a joy to coach. He said win, lose, or draw in this game, this will always be one of his favorite teams. He said they care so much for each other. Donovan rolled it in off the front of the rim. Donovan. You saw Brooks, who had gone to the court. I think McKee was the man that gave him a little
bit of help. In fact, he went all the way across the lane and slid for another extra 8 to 10 feet.
24 points for Billy Donovan. It's 89-74. 15-point bulge for the Friars. Farmer for 3, no good. Kipfer saved it, sort of tapped it to himself, and Providence has it, and in no hurry. See the clock approaching 2.5. Providence, the underdog in this game tonight. And they trailed by as many as 4 points early in the game. But Donovan ignited them with his three-point shots, and the Friars have been in command ever since. Delray Brooks, the other half of that potent backcourt tandem of the Friars. And tonight it's been Brooks and Donovan that have carried the day for Providence.
Tom, I want to make 2 observations about this Providence club. One is I think they're in excellent physical condition. They've come out here and they have played extremely well in this tournament. But Rick Pitino's gotten this club ready to play. Physically, their legs are strong, their arms are strong. They're still out there pressing, and they've almost played a full 40 minutes of full-court basketball. The second thing is, this is a very unemotional team. They really don't come out here and show you a lot of emotion. They don't give you any jubilation. There's no depression. They just go out and play their game. They tend to their knitting. They're very good. They execute well, and they do exactly what they have to do to win.
You want to bet on some emotion in another 2 minutes and 15 seconds? I bet you'll see some then. We've got a timeout with 2:15 left. The score, Providence 91, Alabama 74. 2 minutes, 15 seconds left in the game. Providence leading Alabama 91-74. Why is Providence on the verge of upsetting Alabama? It's easy to see. They have shot the lights out of Freedom Hall tonight. And look at Alabama. They've gone stone cold in the second half.
I didn't think there was any way Providence could improve on their shooting in the second half, and they did. There's a very dejected man who's had an excellent year.
He's going to have nightmares of Billy Donovan tonight. He has had a super year. Top 10 team, Alabama 28-4 coming into this game, and regular season and tournament champions in the SEC. They've had it handed to them on a platter by Providence tonight. The Friars have played super basketball. Kipfer commits the foul against Jim Farmer. I believe that's 5 on Kipfer. He becomes the second Friar to foul out of the game. He leaves with 9 points. 2:07 left in the game now as Kipfer takes a seat. And Jim Farmer, who is perfect at the free throw line, 6 for 6 tonight. And the Alabama leading scorer with 19.
I think one of the things I've been somewhat surprised about, Tom, tonight is the fact that Derek McKee has really not played well tonight.
Has he been a factor?
No, he really hasn't. And that's not like him. He really rises to the top in those big basketball games, but he really has been nowhere to be found tonight. And I credit Rick Pitino with really doing a good job defensively, concentrating on him and keeping the ball away from him.
Farmer, the All-SEC performer, gets 2 more. Don't judge Derek McKee on this game tonight. He is an absolutely multi-talented player who is going to be All-American in his senior season next year, I'm sure. Quick Alabama foul will walk down to the Providence free throw line with 2:03 left. Number 3 on Farmer.
Farmer, number 21. That is his third.
Delray Brooks will toe the line. He's hit double figures in 21 of his 25 games since becoming eligible for Providence. And Wimp Sanderson helpless over on the sideline. There's not much he can do at this stage. Brooks gets the good roll. Alabama hitting only 1 of 7 from three-point range in the second half. Brooks cans 2 at the line. 93-76, less than 2 minutes left. Connor's shot, off balance, won't go. Derek McKee on the rebound, and he is fouled out of the game. Only 11 points tonight for Derek McKee, who fouls out with 1:52 left. But a young man that folks around the country are going to be hearing a lot of next year.
A disappointing evening for that young man, but a terrific year. You know, Wimp Sanderson was really interesting in the press conference yesterday. He was very philosophical about this club. Some sports writer asked him, he says, what are you going to do if you lose? He says, well, all I'm going to do is pack my stuff, put it on the bus, go back to Tuscaloosa, change my underwear, and go recruit.
He'll lose Farmer, Gottfried, Connor, and Jackson off this club. He needs to recruit, but he will have McKee to build his club around next year. And his leading rebounder, Ansley, also returns.
He's done an outstanding job of coaching this team.
Wimp Sanderson doesn't get a whole lot of national respect, but he can coach. 2 free throws make it 95-76. Gottfried from way behind the three-point line hits the home run and is fouled. Donovan may have fouled out.
We may be looking at a 4-point play here.
Billy Donovan has committed his 5th foul. Fouls out of the game with 1:43 left, and listen to the ovation.
Let's watch it again underneath. Donovan right there. You can see him right in the glass. He'll jump right into Gottfried just as he lets it go. Gottfried with a little bit of an acting job, too. You got to draw the foul. You got to love that kid. You got to love the way he plays the game.
He puts heart and soul into it, and he is on the move every minute. He has a lot of talent. Gottfried misses the free throw. He's 0 for 2 at the line. 95-79. There's a slam. That's an exclamation point on that Providence lead as Darrell Wright jams it home. See the clock. Gottfried for 3, no good. Back to Gottfried. Try to get it to Farmer and stolen by Providence. Delray Brooks is fouled by Gottfried. That's number 5. on Mark Gottfried. He leaves with 14 points, making his final appearance in an Alabama uniform. Gottfried, already a graduate student, got his bachelor's degree, playing his last game as a member of the Crimson Tide. He said he wants to go to Europe perhaps and try to play basketball next
There's
year.
some of that emotion. You see the smiles on that Providence bench? That's a happy group.
And the other range of emotion on the Alabama bench. Delray Brooks, another free throw.
Well, he's had an outstanding night, particularly at the free throw line.
Talk about a potent backcourt when you have Brooks and Donovan. Two guys that can really go after it. Saved by Providence off the hand of Wright to Alabama.
Tom, in the first two games of this tournament, Providence scored 90 points in each game, and they're about to go over 100 in this one.
They led the Big East in scoring at 86.7, fifth in all of college basketball. Farmer misses from three. Providence rebounds, a minute left, and a 20-point lead for the Friars, 99 to 79. There's another slam by Wright. And that puts them over the century mark, 101 to 79. Alabama averages giving up only 68 a game. Not a shocker that Providence has won, but the margin is an eye-popper. Farmer can't hit it. Another rebound by Providence. The Friars routing the Crimson Tide in the Southeast region.
Boy, it has been a big surprise. This Providence club has come on and played so well. You know, they got beat by Georgetown in the Big East tournament, and since then, they have never really been headed. They had a tough game against Austin Peay, and the only other time that they really came in here, they thought they were going to have a tough game against Alabama tonight, and everyone else expected it. Rick Pitino got his club ready to play. Yes, sir.
Big bear hug for Delray Brooks, and boy, the spirit of Pitino, 34 years old and energetic, really rubs off on his club as Conlon hits another free throw. And suddenly over on the Alabama side, as the Providence guys celebrate, hugs and high fives all around. And Wimp Sanderson, those 28 victories don't seem too important right now.
For those of you in the state of Rhode Island watching this game, turn off all the lights and head to Louisville. Get down here and get with this club. They're playing.
Less than 30 seconds left. Jackson missed everything. Out of bounds, but last touch for the Friars. Brian Benham is in the game for Providence for the first time. 6'3" sophomore from Cartersville, Georgia. Farmer hits the three. Foul on Jackson with 10 seconds left.
Tom, I said this in Birmingham last week, but I really think this Providence team is a great club to watch play. They are fun. They come out and they give you that good pressure. They shoot the ball well. They pass it well. They just execute their offenses and defenses the way Rick Pitino started with them on October the 15th, teaching them to play this game.
The contrast of emotions with 10 seconds left, and Providence on the way to the regional finals on Saturday. Three missed the shot. Farmer pulls up with a three. Niediger got the rebound. 1 second left, and Providence has upset Alabama. The underdog Providence Friars playing a flawless game of basketball, lighting it up from three-point range and shutting down Alabama's inside game, have advanced to the regional finals on Saturday against the winner of the Georgetown-Kansas matchup. Final score from Freedom Hall, Providence 103 and Alabama 82. We'll be back to Louisville for some closing thoughts in just a moment. The Providence Friars with a convincing 103-82 upset of Alabama. And Larry, they did it with the backcourt, Donovan and Brooks.
And they did it with three-point shooting. Watch the bounce pass right here to Brooks in the corner from Donovan, and it goes right to the bottom. Watch Brooks move into that defensive stance. They get right after it. They make a field goal and immediately go to the pressure.
Donovan had 26 points. Brooks had 23. They combined for 49 points, and they're going to be a force to be reckoned with throughout the tournament.
Tom, I think they're the hottest team right now in the tournament. They're outstanding.
Providence a winner over Alabama in the Southeast region, 103-82. This is Tom Hammond for Larry Conley and our entire crew saying so long from Freedom Hall in Louisville.